Okay, quick check. How many sick days in your house this month?
We're basically just alternating who's sick here. Honestly, it's like the Germ Olympics. Welcome to Baby Then What, the podcast you didn't know you needed for the real, unfiltered side of motherhood.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Jessie, and we're just two moms of two in the thick of it.
We're sharing the real and unhinged side of motherhood no one else talks about.
If you've ever said, I had a baby, now what? You're in the right place.
By the way, you're doing amazing, even if no one said it today.
Okay, welcome back to the Baby Then What podcast. Today we have a episode all around going back to school, getting sick, starting school and then getting sick. And it's kind of funny because I have one kid here sick and the other one's upstairs crying sick. So
here we go.
Yeah, it's pretty timely
It's
episode.
A timely episode, and once you guys are listening to this, school is starting. It's just right around the corner.
Yes.
So let's take it back to the beginning on our first kids going to school.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing when you send your kid to daycare or school for the first time, you're like, okay, they're out of the house. This is so exciting. I have my life back a little bit. And then like 3 days later, it's like your kid's sick, come pick them up.
Yeah.
You send them back to school, and then it's, okay, your kid's sick again, pick them back up. And it's like just
constant
rotating viruses. It's ridiculous.
Sniffle, fever, antibiotics, strep throat, all the above. I can name you every disease or thing that they've had. It's just ongoing, and one kid gets it, the other kid gets it. But let's bring it back to the beginning when you've heard of these daycare sicknesses.
Yeah.
You heard of all these sicknesses that young babies are getting. But once you experience it, you're like, whoa, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
So Arlo started daycare at 14 months. Honestly, like knock on wood, he was pretty okay before that. We had a little bit of a scare with RSV. We are in Toronto, Canada, whoever's listening to this. So our seasons are changing. So usually around August, September, a lot of the sicknesses start. It gets cooler. I don't know if that's a myth, but it's a real thing. So he started at 14 months, and honestly, 3 days in, I get a call exactly like Jessie said. Your kid is sick. He has a fever. You got to pick him up. And most daycares here, they will not administer Tylenol to your kids. So as soon as they see a fever or your kid's acting not like his usual self, her usual self, you have to pick them up. And if you are a working mom or someone who is doing something else, you don't really have the luxury of being like, I'll be there in 3 hours to pick up my kid. They kind of want you to pick your kid up right away. ASAP. So we'll get into that. I want to talk about is it usually falls under the mom or the dad or the partner or whoever, but most of the time it definitely 99.9% of the time falls on the mom, and you have to drop everything to go and deal with that. But we are not here to scare you on the sicknesses. We are on the other side, even though one of them is here right now. You want your kids to get sick. As like crazy as that sounds, like you want them to get sick. You need them to get these viruses.
To build immunity.
The immunity. And it's just more so we're here to be like, yes, it happens. And also to tell you how to deal with it. I feel like that's kind of the lead I want to go at.
Okay. Thank you, Ziggy. Okay. Come back. This is literally the example of how your life is impacted by kids, right? Like we had this booked. We were going to film today, and
here we are.
He's sick. And he wants to be at home, and he wants to be with me. And like, obviously this is like nice to have like the luxury of being with him right now. But like when you have like a corporate job or somewhere where you have to be out of office, like you physically have to leave your job. You personally probably have to take a sick day because like, what are you going to do? Like, and then your kid is home and wants to be with you. And like, and then, okay, when you have one kid sick, that's fine. But then you have the second kid sick, and then they also have to be home with you. And then maybe you're going to get sick.
100% like, you're going to get sick. In no world are you not getting sick in this whole charade of sicknesses.
Right. And I think like it's just back to your point, who's taking the time off and who's taking care of these kids and then who's taking them to the doctor. And like, it's really, I don't think I was prepared for like how much extra effort I would need to like deal with also during a work day.
100%.
Right? Like a doctor's office is not open on evenings and weekends.
No.
Maybe a walk-in if you're lucky. you know, you're not going to really be able to get great childcare if your kid's sick. Who wants to watch your kid?
No one.
It's really tough.
And they only want you at the end of the day. Like when you don't feel good, like your kids want you. So you're going to be okay. My first thing is you are going to be okay. You're going to get through to the other side. The biggest thing for people listening, I know we have a lot of first-time mom viewers, is the anxiety and all of that when you first get that call when your kid is sick and you bring them home. And you're Googling and you're searching, how am I going to help my kid? What am I going to do? Go through the motions. They will get through to the other side. You're going to give them Tylenol. You're going to give them hugs. You're going to give them kisses. If it's an antibiotic, you're going to do that. And honestly, you got to trust your mom gut. You know your kid best. If you believe that when you bring them home that something is off, you got to take them to the doctor's office and they're going to help you. They'll be your second voice.
So distracting. For those of you that aren't watching this, we literally have a 4-year-old sitting on my lap wanting to be cuddled like a baby, making this this is like just such the irony of all of this. Such the irony. Oh my God. Okay. We're going to have to take a pause and put a show on for you. So my biggest thing with the daycares and schools and all these things with sicknesses is that you kind of have to be your own judge of sickness types. Like, for example, the schools and daycares will always err on the side of caution. And like, if they see a booger or if they see a dot.
Spot. Yeah, one dot, one spot.
Oh my God, they have chicken pox, they have RSV, pick your kid up.
Now.
Like one time they called me and they're like, you need to pick Ziggy up from, he has hand, foot, and mouth. And I was like, well, in an isolation room. I'm like, come on. And then I pick him up and it was like ketchup.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you joking
They're
me?
just trying to save their ass.
So I would say you have to be a little bit like, not cautious, but like be careful of what they're telling you because it's like sometimes they just like want to get like kids out. You can send your kid to school with boogers and stuffy noses and runny noses and coughs and colds. Like it's fine. Like obviously a fever, not great.
No.
Diarrhea, that kind of stuff, not great. And like
things that you think are contagious.
Yeah.
That you would not see your friends for. Like if I'm having fucking diarrhea and you're like, let's hang out. Like you'd be like, no, like maybe you have a stomach bug. Maybe
I got a stomach bug from Ziggy's school.
There
when
you
I went to Ibiza.
There you
and
go.
I thought I had like drank too much. I thought I was hungover. I thought all these things. And then I was like, we're at a like fancy restaurant and they brought like a seafood paella. And I was like, I literally ran to the bathroom with like puke in my mouth. And Josh was like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm genuinely not.
So you got it.
And nobody believed me. And then one at a time they all got it. I felt so bad.
Yeah, there you go. It's a real thing. So things that you know are contagious, of course, keep your kids home. You don't want the moms yelling at you. Trust me. I was one of those moms when they sent someone that had like a really high fever to school. And I was like, why is your kid at school with a really high fever? They're contagious.
Yeah. No,
Hand, foot, and mouth, contagious.
Yes.
And like there is like, and look it up. Like you have ChatGPT, you have Google, you have doctors, you have us, message us. Like we can tell you whatever we know. Again, we're not doctors, we're not experts, but like we've gone through it. We have 4 kids between the 2 of us. We've done all the daycare fucking sicknesses so far, all the shots for the daycare sicknesses. So
they will, but then the worst thing is, then if they have a fever or some kind of like really bad symptom, the school or daycare will be like, you have to keep them home for 48 hours. You can't send them to school. So then not only did you have to leave your work day
for the initial
day, then you have to stay home for potentially 2 additional days if you don't have any kind of grandparent, nanny, whatever kind of help. And if they're willing to come, to be honest.
100%. Like my mom sometimes would be like, if your kid is contagious, like,
well, I'm not coming.
I'm not coming.
So then you have that whole fucking ordeal, which is like another 3-day stint. And then the hilarious part about all of this is you send your kid back to school, and then the next week they call you again and are like, pick up your kid.
Strep throat is going around the school.
It's the next thing.
Yeah, or the emails. Like I remember second time mom, I laugh. I do laugh. Like when I get the email, strep throat is going around, or like I like laugh at this point. But as a first time mom, it's like debilitating.
Yes,
when I remember
I agree.
getting an email, actually Arlo, even though first time mom, but at his new school, and I never experienced lice.
Oh.
And And I got that email from the school being like, lice is going around the school. We are doing lice checks. I thought my entire body was just like, I remember calling out and being like, I can't do lice. I can't do lice. Give me strep throat. I can't do lice. But I'm using that as an example with like, obviously, like we're past that. We're into our second kid sicknesses. But when I got that email of like, your kid has a high fever, or like the calls from the school, like you need to pick your kid up, like your chest literally comes out of its body.
No, because you fear the worst. Back to like this whole anxiety and stuff. You're like, oh my God, my kid's gonna get sick. My kid's gonna have to get hot. Like they really scare the fucking shit out of you with like when you go to the doctor's office, you need to have this vaccine and that vaccine and you gotta get this and you gotta get that. Like they scare you so that the second you receive an email saying there's RSV in the thing or there's hand, foot, and mouth, like you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
What they don't tell you is that like everything in the world, there's a range.
There's a range and kids get sicknesses.
Sometimes you get hand, foot, and mouth and it's really bad. But other times you get it and it's a rash.
Exactly. Like one of my kids had it bad. One of my kids had it totally fine. And like kids get sick. Like they're babies. They're new. Like we've been around for like a good couple of years, a little bit more than a couple of years. Like we've gone through it and they're going to go through it too. Like especially living where we live. I'm going to keep prefacing like we're here. Canada. Like kids are getting colds 8 to 10 times a year.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking about? If you're going back to work from mat leave and you have some wiggle room to extend your mat leave, you should honestly send your kid to school in September or whatever it is and keep an extra 2 months off.
I agree. 1,000. And no one ever would have told you that.
No.
And if you were doing that, I would even start mat leave literally when that baby's pushed out of you. You know, some women take like 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off before.
I did.
Not worth it.
No.
I would fully extend that to once you decide to send your kid to daycare, or even not even daycare. Like if you do get help or you get a nanny or you get
anything.
As soon as you put your kid in a program, it doesn't have to be daycare.
They're getting sick.
They're getting sick. There's germs around.
They lick the things. They said they clean them all.
They're licking, they're touching, it's disgusting. But like,
even just like regular life with the seasons, like maybe if you live in a hot climate, it's not the same. But if you live anywhere like New York, Toronto, like cold climates that you have winter, the germs they're way higher, and you are gonna need to take days and days and days off work. Like you should save mat leave days for that side of it.
So this is where it ties in where like we got a lot of people write in. Like I've even had friends say that. You've said it straight to my face, wondering if daycare was the right call because of this.
Yeah,
you've said it to me. Like we've got people writing it in. I don't want to say it is the wrong call. I did it for both, but then we're literally just repeating it. If you're not sending your kid to daycare, you're for sure sending them to a program at one point.
Yes.
So they're going to
otherwise, what are you doing?
They're going to get the same thing. I know one of my girlfriends right now, her kid is not in daycare in these programs, just got hand, foot, and mouth.
Right.
Like perfect example, not in daycare, went to a program, hand, foot, and mouth. So don't guilt yourself. Don't like put all this pressure on you. Like they're kids, they're gonna get sick.
100%.
And it's the way that you deal with it and like try and calm yourself down as much as calming them down. Like, yeah, if you have a 1-year-old, let's say, who's sick, just home from daycare, put on a fucking screen.
Yeah.
They want to sit with you, cuddle with you. If you have the luxury of like pulling up your computer and doing your work, put the fucking TV on.
Yes.
Give them some fucking Tylenol if that suits you. I'm a Tylenol pusher. But like if it doesn't suit you, that's fine. Let them sit there. You can get some work done. They just want you.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I've done that many times. I've like put them in my bed with me, put the TV on and done my calls as much as I could with my computer on my lap, and you just like power through, and you just until I became a mom, I always thought women in the workforce, I was like, oh, she's picking her kid up early. Like, what a bad worker. Right. Or like, I would be so judgmental.
You judge everything.
And now I'm like, I can't come to this meeting. I need to leave work early. I'm coming in late. Like, I'm just like.
Because it all falls on you. Everything falls on the mom.
And I have a very helpful and supportive husband, and it still falls on me. Yeah. So I can't imagine if I had a husband that was like leaving at 7 a.m. and came home at 8 p.m.
It's very hard.
And it happens.
It 100% happens.
But when it comes to daycare versus like nanny, whatever, staying home, this is the truth. At a daycare, you have 10, 15 kids to 2 adults, right? Nanny, mom, whatever it is, it's one-on-one. So the chances that these kids are all going to be licking things and handing them to 100%. Each other, high, very high. when you're on a one-on-one scenario, the chances of someone watching that kid 24/7 and making sure it doesn't put stuff in their mouth, there's going to be less transfer. However, at some point,
they're going to do it.
And you turn your back around to talk to another mom, or
you're at the park.
The adults start talking and you don't watch the kids for 2 seconds and they're licking shit.
Happen.
They're going to lick stuff. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
the question
100%.
is, are they going to lick it in a big group with two adults? Or a small group with one-on-one? Like, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
That was my point. So
I like that point.
It goes back to whatever decision you decide or are forced to decide because of your circumstances. Like, yes, maybe in the daycare scenario, it will happen earlier and more often, but it's still going to happen at some point, and you need to just also, like, don't take your kids to the walk-in every 3 seconds because you're going to drive yourself insane.
Yeah. Use your own judgment. I know it's really hard to say. Obviously, we're coming on the other side. Our kids are older. We have our second. So as a first-time mom, like, you feel it in your gut. Like, you know when to go. You know when you can do all the home remedies or whatever. And if you feel like something's off, then you go.
I feel like there's been a number of times where I've, like, seen my kids sick and I'm like, we're going to go. And then she's like, oh, they have an ear infection.
Yeah.
I'm like, I knew it.
Yeah.
It was so validating.
100%.
When I was like, I was like, my mom instinct,
like,
gut. Yes.
It's a real thing. Mom instinct is a real thing. So jumping to that is, okay, so we got over the first kid because now I know a lot of people listening as well are now nervous about the second kid going into the winter. So your first kid has done daycare or these programs or whatever. They're a little bit older. And now you're bringing a newborn in when your first is at daycare or at these programs, let's say. Let's divide it into two.
It's true. We both had second babies in the winter with a first one at a full-on school. Not a program with a nanny or a mom.
At school.
Full-on school where you have zero control and zero or whatever, daycare school. Like, they were gone. They were gone from 8:30 to 3:30 every day, putting God knows what in their mouth in God knows what environment. And we had a fresh newborn in Jan, Feb, March.
Yes.
Basically.
So,
dead of winter.
So, of course, now looking back, I was terrified. I was so terrified. I did everything I could to be like, Arlo, don't kiss the baby. Arlo, don't touch Ace. Don't do this. But, like, they're going to do it. They're also going to touch things that then, like, is going to end up at Ace, or you turn your head for a second, it's the toys in there. Ace did get RSV at 3 months old.
It's fucking terrifying.
And he got that from his brother because Arlo got RSV first from school. I remember checking him into the hospital for a day and a half. Since he was older, he was able to fight it faster. But my 3-month-old was not able to fight it. Ace was in the hospital for a full week. He survived. He is 2.5 now. So that gives everyone some peace of mind. But it's will happen. It's very scary. You can only do so much, though. It's like, that's what I'm like, you can only do so much. Like, he was still in the hospital. He got RSV. Like, what are you going to do? A 3-month-old can't fight it as well as a 2.5-year-old.
And I think, like, even then you were still breastfeeding a little bit for him.
Yeah.
Like, it's like people will say, oh, well, if you're breastfeeding, like, it will be fine. Like, I remember thinking back when it was COVID, when I had Ziggy, and I was like, oh, I'm going to breastfeed for as long as possible. So that way, if I travel, he's going to have, like, immunity. It's helpful, but it's not bulletproof.
It's definitely not bulletproof.
Like, it's the truth. Like, if you, even with breastfeeding and everything and doing all that stuff, like, you know, it's not perfect, and they're tiny and they're little, and you just should be grateful, like, if you can live in an area where you have a medical system. But, like, the bringing the second home with the first,
I think is harder than the first going to daycare sicknesses. Because usually they're not going to daycare until the age of 1.
Right.
Whereas a 3-month-old is very different to a 1-year-old. They have literally just got out of you.
It's true. You have to, like, really brace for impact in that sense. Now, the good news in all of this is that hopefully you're on maternity leave.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yes. So you have the time, because I was at the hospital all day while going home with my other son that was sick. But
it's scary.
I was so scared during it. Coming out from the other side, like, the best tips I can do / give, not do, is if you can, do not let your older kid kiss the newborn in the beginning if they're in school. I know it's like, wash hands as much as you can. And honestly, it's the kissing. It really is the kissing. Even if you're like, kiss the head, like, it's never usually on the head, or like the touching of the hands. Like, maybe like kiss on the leg, like just try and
Pick
be a little bit
another
more mindful. Non-face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like say the same thing. When you bring a newborn home, they don't even want other family members kissing the baby.
Right.
Like that's like a known thing.
Well, you just have to think germs pass through open areas, right? Like if you're touching my knee, I'm not getting germs from you.
No.
If you're literally shoving your fingers in my nose and mouth.
Or if I'm touching your hands.
And then I do that.
And then you do that, the baby's getting
So remember the mittens for like babies not scratching their things?
Put them on.
The mittens are
Literally
really
put the fucking
germ
mittens on.
protectors.
Literally.
Because then if they go like this, it's not like, maybe that's a new invention.
Sure.
No, what I actually thought about before, the invention that should be made is somebody to watch your kids sick, but like a discount, like
at a discounted rate.
Like it's kind of annoying.
Are they wearing like a hazmat suit?
I don't know, but like if you think about paying for daycare or school or nanny or whatever, like you have to pay for the program. Then you have to not send your kid to the program.
Yeah, if they get sick.
You have to then take off time work. If you're working a shift, maybe you don't make money. If you're in a career, maybe you only get so many days and then you have to take unpaid days or whatever. Like school should really consider a sick program.
Right.
Like insurance or something like that you could like
insurance,
Like if you could like pay into it and say like I want to be part of like the sick program for the year, and when my kid is sick, I get support.
I love that. I think it's a great idea.
But it literally happens to everybody.
Everyone.
Days and days during the year. Like it's crazy. Obviously if your kid is 10, like whatever, but
they'll be fine at 10.
At 10, I was homesick.
Are you kidding? I was homesick probably watching like The Price is Right.
Yeah. You wanted to have sick days back then. Oh my God, it was the best thing ever.
Sitting at home watching movies all day. Yeah.
Oh my God, The Price is Right. Oh, how the times have changed.
Yeah.
Now it's like.
I actually got them into Winnie the Pooh.
That's cute.
Yeah, Arlo's like, I don't want to watch a show about poo for 10 minutes. I was like, it's not about fucking poo. Winnie the Pooh. He goes, I'm not watching a show about poo. I'm like, I'm actually going to punch you out. And Ace was like, poo, poo, poo. Anyways, they got into it after all that. But like, that was a full 15-minute argument about him thinking he's watching a show about poo.
You're like, this is the kind of parenting style I'm going with.
Oh yeah, that's next week's episode. We're going to get into all that. I have so much to say about that. But
okay, so a couple like of our best tips when it comes to the sickness thing that I think people should know. Number one, at the end of the day, you're probably the best version of a doctor for your kid as like the first line of defense and triage. You will know them better than anyone else. You will know them better than a doctor. You know, a runny nose, don't waste your time going to the doctor.
No.
Like you're going to have more stress getting your kid in the car and pissed and going. Obviously, if they're lethargic, feverish, like that, it's a different story.
Not drinking, not a wet diaper, like all the main.
Oh yeah, that's really important.
Yes, if your kid is not producing a wet diaper, like that is, honestly, that's not even doctor. That's straight to emergency.
Yeah.
Like they should be definitely giving you wet diapers. Yeah, runny nose, just follow through. The runny nose could turn into an ear infection, so you just monitor it.
Yeah. If you can, I know like physically going to a doctor is often hard. Like they have these like virtual doctor things all the time now. I know a doctor can't diagnose necessarily virtually, but you could at least
be like, these are the symptoms.
This is the symptoms, or like show a rash or something to be like, do I actually need to come in, or is it just like, am I fine? But
I agree.
That would be my best tip when it comes to like that first line of defense. And then the second biggest tip is you need to expect that your kids are gonna get sick
100%.
in the first 2 years of life, especially when they go to daycare. And you should 100% be planning your career, your life, your help, your support around that. Like,
and knowing that it's going to happen.
It's gonna happen. It will happen multiple times, and you should share the load with your husband. You should call in reinforcements.
Just get prepared, basically. That was the biggest point of why we really wanted to do this episode today, because no one warned us about it, and we want to warn you about it. We're not here to scare you again.
No,
we're here to warn
prepared.
you and be prepared.
Yeah, and like you also should be mentally prepared that like if you have to use screens for 2 days in a row. Like there was a point where I think Ziggy watched literally 8 hours of TV 2 days in a row. By the 8th hour on the second day, he was like, I don't want to watch TV ever again. Like we like out TV'd
But
him.
what
like,
else is he going to do when he's so sick? He's not running up and down the stairs. He's not doing anything else. When you're sick, what do you want to do? Sit in bed, lay in bed, watch TV.
My point is that like it's not like they're gonna get addicted or want to do it. Like they eventually are just like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm done with this shit. I want to do something. And you really should just use use whatever you can in your toolbox to like get through the days, because otherwise it's just, and let them sleep. Like obviously
Yes.
you know that, but
Yes.
that's your,
No,
also
that's a
your
really
break.
good tip. Like if normally your kid, let's say, is napping for like 2-3 hours, let's say 1-year-old or
Let 'em
whatever,
go.
let him, if it's 5 hours, let it go. Your 2-3 days are going to be messed up. They might go to bed later. They might go to bed earlier. Sleep is the best medicine when you're sick. So that was
and
a
that
good
gives
tip.
you some time back to do your work or whatever you need to do to
Yeah.
like get through your to-do list.
Yeah.
No matter if you're in like the newborn stage or a later toddler stage, sicknesses happen. They can be scary. We totally have been there. We know it. We feel you. You don't need to like fear the worst. Like there's always going to be a range. People will always tell you the scariest story
100%.
because obviously that's newsworthy, like duh. So take it all with a grain of salt. You know your kid better than anybody else. Don't be afraid of meds. Don't be afraid of shows to get you through the day.
100%.
And just know it's going to happen.
And you will get to the other side.
And be prepared.
And be prepared. We love you, and we'll see you next week.